Lenka, thank you very much for coming to this interview with me for my show. And would you like to start maybe describing, your name, who you are, what you do, and describing what your profession entitled?
Yeah, so hi, I'm Lenka and I'm a social media consultant. People often ask what actually social media consultant do. So I started more as a social media manager, where I would take over other people's social media accounts and do everything for them, and slowly developed into more of a social media trainer, coach and speaker, where I go to businesses and I help them to build strategy, understand how social media works, outline the roadmap for them, and then help them deliver the social media strategy, marketing campaign for them, or most likely with them. So I don't do it necessarily for them. I'm there with them, holding their hand, making sure that they know what they do, how they do it, what the results are, and if they're going into the right direction.
Fantastic. So it sounds like you are exactly what you say. So exactly as written on the tin, as they say. So you are a consultant. Yeah. You're not going to do you do the strategy with them, and then you help them to develop the social media content and this sort of thing. But you're not actually providing content. There are lots of other people that do
there's
that.
a lot of social media managers, and if you look at freelancers starting in social media, they will mostly start as social media managers, community managers, content creators, taking it away from the business and doing it on their behalf. But most people will really early on realize that this is the most difficult part of the job, because you need to learn so much more about the client. You need to get their tone of voice, and you need to understand their business. And obviously you need to spend a lot of time creating the content, engaging with their audiences. And lots of clients at this position still don't understand social media. Exactly. So this type of work is often really undervalued.
Yes, and also they don't understand exactly what they want, so they keep changing their mind. Yeah. Oh, but I thought this was this. It is the case, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right. So how long have you been doing this business, this profession now?
So I've been working in social media for the past 5-6 years.
Wow.
It kind of came really gradually through my studies. So I was studying journalism, and the original idea was that I will be a journalist, that I will write for probably something more financially, economically focused, because I have dual module for my degree, so I had journalism and economics.
Okay.
So the idea was like, I will be writing for Financial Times or The Economist.
Fantastic.
But during kind of my work experiences while at uni and some of the part-time jobs I had, I kind of discovered this thing called marketing.
Yes.
Yeah.
We all did at some point.
Exactly. I was like, okay, I had different jobs, tried here and there, and somehow there was just this thing called marketing. And at the time, social media was just starting out, so I usually work for small businesses with small budgets. So there's like, hey, there is this thing called Facebook where we can do marketing, can do PR, we can reach out to media, but it doesn't cost us much as the traditional put an advert to TV or create video.
Absolutely, yeah.
So I just started playing around with it a lot. And then I actually discovered that this could be a career, that this could be a life. So then I kind of moved towards making this my career. But it came really naturally.
So basically, you came out of university and you fell into this. It wasn't like you had a job. Many of the people I interview, they had a job like myself, and they move from one career to the other. So for you, it was a kind of a natural progression into it.
Really natural, because then my career and uni kind of started, both were still merging together.
Yeah.
And it's also influenced by me moving to the UK from Czech Republic. So my career, actually, I came to the UK still as a student.
Right.
But through my journey in this country, I kind of gave up my master's. I did not finish my master's in Czech Republic because I realized it's not the right degree for me. The university was not supportive of me wanting to get some work experience here. And so after I finished my experience via school, I was like, I actually don't want to go back to Czech Republic. I wanted to stay here a little longer to get better English, get more work experiences. And at the time, I already had a little bit of the social media knowledge. So I started looking for jobs, and that's how I actually got to Cambridge, is get a first full-time job as a social media manager for a small agency.
Right, so you did that as an employee. This is a part of your past, isn't it? So you worked that as an employee, and then what happened?
Well, I've spent about 2 years here in Cambridge employed for a smaller agency and then moved to a bigger agency.
Right.
So having the traditional progression of you work small business, you learn how the social media is done on smaller basis, but obviously I wanted a proper agency experience of knowing how the big boys are doing it, the big brands are doing it. So I got a job in, it's still Cambridge based, but London style agency, like really seeing how the different level of community manager, account manager, senior manager, CEO works with big brands in terms of their marketing budgets, their marketing strategies. It was great in terms of learning how campaigns are built, how to deal with clients, how to do proposals, how to deliver everything. But for me personally, just the company culture fit was not the right fit. I did not fit within kind of the agency vibe of lifestyle. It was really cool. We had table tennis and we had Wii and we had beanbags. It was really cool. But then there wasn't kind of silent expectation of you working overtime almost every single day because you spend most of the day playing table tennis. And I
which is not very effective.
And I wanted to have life. So
Yeah.
I was leaving on time, which was seen as me not working hard enough.
Yeah, I hate that culture. Yeah. I mean, I'm working since I've been on my own for a long time, but it's just I don't like those companies who are measuring your output just by the hours you spend in there, rather than checking exactly what you're doing, where, how effective. Yeah. Great. So, how was the decision to get out of this agency and set up on your own?
So, I always knew deep down that I want to be freelancer. I knew that I want to be on my own because just the freedom and the flexibility was something that always attracted me.
Sure.
But obviously, especially since I moved to a different country with different language, different culture, completely different level of economy, of the expenses of living in country, I was like, I can't do it now. I'm way too young. I'm way too inexperienced. I'm living in a different country. I was like, I need a proper agency experience. And when I was in the agency, and it was nothing like they promised on the tin, it's nothing like all the really shiny, fun lifestyle, I was like, well, I will try to find another job. But every time I went for interview or something, I potentially self-sabotaged because I think the independence and the fear of getting into the same cultural non-fit was way too big. And then I was like, okay, I will give it a try. I had some savings. I was really lucky that from my previous role, I had fairly good connections to small businesses in Cambridge. Yeah. And the first agency that I worked for actually could not find anyone to replace me after I've left. And so after a while, I actually discontinued the whole social media services. So when I was kind of thinking about starting social media, I still had great relationship with them. And they were like, hey, so we don't do social media anymore, but here are all the clients you used to work with. Do you want to approach them independently? So I was really lucky that when I just wanted to start my own business, my previous agency was like, hey, here are the clients that you used to work for. Do you want to work with them? Feel free to approach them because we don't do this service anymore. There's no one else taking care of them. Wow. So I had great kind of first initial lead, really warmed up lead list that I approached them, and quite a few of them said yes. So in the first 3-4 months of me starting freelancing, I managed to get to the same level of income that I had in my previous agency because of the relationships that I've built through the work and staying in touch with my previous employer.
Very good. So yeah, they've been very nice to you.
They were amazing. I think this job and this company and people in there are still in my life, even though it's years after. But this is one of the best relationships I've ever made in Cambridge.
Which is very important to have proper relationships around, isn't it? Particularly if you run your own business. Great. So was there anything that was holding you back when you decided, okay, I'm going to go independent, I'm going to go freelance? Is there anything that you think, maybe not? Or...
There was lots of things. So especially since the last job wasn't making me feel like I'm good enough. In the last role, I was made feel that I'm not working hard enough, that I'm not good enough at my job, that my English is not good enough. So then from leaving from there to starting on my own, my self-confidence was really damaged, because it's like, this company hired me, and then they're telling me that I'm not good enough and that I'm not performing enough. And then there was lots of issues with, me fitting into them and having good English. So plus on top of still living in fairly new country with new habits, new rules, new level of income that I need to deal with. So I was really afraid. I was scared, because there still was a tiny little thing in my mind is, if I fail, I will have to go home to my family and be like, hey, I failed at this living in a foreign country kind of dream. So I was really afraid. But then something in me was telling me, just, you can always find some job. It's one of the things I do like about this country is there are job opportunities. They're not fancy, but there is always a way to find a job. Even if it's working in retail, working in cafes.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
If you're humble, if you don't have massive life expectations for life, for all the material things, you can find a job and you can survive. Yeah. So it was kind of the safety net for me. It was like, I can figure it out.
Great. Okay, that's amazing. Yeah, really good. So, do you remember what was your biggest challenge in this journey for you to becoming an independent consultant?
Well, when you start on your own, then you realize that you're on your own. The first few months was amazing, because I could work from home, I don't need to commute, because the previous job was just somewhere outside Cambridge, and commuting there was hell, because public transport in Cambridge is just a nightmare. So I was really happy that I don't need to commute anywhere. But then, even though I'm introvert and I'm happy to be on my own, well, when you're spending all day, every day on your own, you realize that, there is the depression, there is the loneliness, there is the lack of motivation and the procrastination. So then the biggest challenge was to figuring out my daily routine, of figuring out what am I doing with myself to keep myself motivated, keep myself happy, keep myself engaged and entertained and connected to other people, because I really early on realized I can't do it on my own.
No.
Especially the moment the finances started happening, like you need to do a tax return, and you need to do this, and you need to do this. And even though I do have a degree in economics, and my mom is accountant, so as a kid I did the receipts, I did help her with this. Just something in being in a different country, even though it's still the basics of bookkeeping works the same, it's still different language, different vocabulary, a little bit different systems, and then obviously it's mine. So if I make a mistake, it's mine. So the first thing was, I need someone to help me to figure out this whole finance thing, because otherwise I'm lost. Yes.
Well, it sounds like you've done a good job so far. Do you remember, is there one person who had most influence on your business life, in your career progression?
There are lots of people that influenced me, but there was one particular person, and that takes me still back to school, back to uni. It's one of my colleagues, one of my schoolmates. Right. We used to work for a student magazine together. And she's a couple of years younger than me, but she is the most determined and kind of crazy and hardworking and really clever girl. And at the time I was really kind of shy, kind of not ambitious. You would not recognize me.
No, of course. That's why I'm probably this face.
I always say that I am who I am today because of her. Right. Because she was the first person who actually started kind of pushing me out of my comfort zone. Because I was so happy in my tiny little comfort zone. And just by really silly actions of riding the double bike, where you have the tandem bike, the two of you. And just by this action was so out of my comfort zone, just riding this bike where you need to keep balance for both of you, or you leave someone in the front seat and then you don't see where you're going. Just these tiny little actions were amazing, that how she managed to push me out of my comfort zone, and just watching her career, watching her ambitions and determination and drive in life kind of sparked a little in me. And we're still friends, we still talk. She's still in Czech Republic, but she's doing amazing things. Yeah. She's the person who kind of inspires me the most.
Fantastic. All right. Well, Do you remember one mistake in your business experience that was more painful than others?
There's lots of mistakes. On a business journey, you get across mistakes every now and then. Well, more often than that. But one biggest mistake, I don't think it's a mistake in terms of making mistakes. I think that more it's kind of learning lessons. I don't look at it as mistakes. It's learning to outsource, because outsourcing is really challenging. It's important to outsource. It's important to find people who can do what you're not good at, who can do it better, who can do it faster, and who can ideally do it cheaper. But then obviously you need to manage people. You need to know how to brief them, how to set expectations, how to measure. And figuring out how to find the right people, how to plan, how to train them, how to onboard them was probably the biggest lesson, because I've spent lots of money that I did not have to spend on other people because I was not thinking it through properly. I did not have a proper plan. I was just like chucking it at people and hoping that they will work the same way as I work, which obviously it's the rookie mistake that you expect other people to be like you.
Of course. Yeah, it's a very common mistake. Is there anything you would like to change in your past, business past that we're still talking? Are there things you regret you didn't do, or obviously mistakes you made?
No, I wouldn't. As I said, there might be some mistakes, there have been ups and downs, but I wouldn't be where I am right now without every single of those mistakes. And I think I live my life in a way of no regrets. So before I make a decision, I'm happy with whatever the consequences will be. Sometimes the consequences are unexpected, but it's just go for it.
Go for it.
Yeah, I just need to live with it, and I'm not looking back. I'm just looking forward. How can I actually make sure that I will not repeat these mistakes? I've learned from these mistakes. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
Excellent. Okay, could you explain us? I have a vague idea, but like how you work. So I'm a client. Hi, Lenka. I need some help with my social media. What would be your first approach? You come in, you have a meeting with me. How does that work?
Yeah, so it really depends on the client. Some clients come to me, I've never met them before. Some clients come to me after I've known them for 2-3 years. But the conversation always will start with, yes, we need to have a chat. It could be over phone, it could be over Skype, it could be in person. But we need to talk about you, your business, your goals, your marketing, where you're trying to go, what are you trying to achieve, and how social media fits into it. After I get kind of a picture of, okay, so your business is this, your clients are this is how many clients you need to make the money that you want to make, this is what you've tried so far in terms of marketing, this is how you've got your current clients. Now we can start putting a plan of action together and see what needs to be done going forward to actually help your business grow.
Right. So then that is the first approach. Then they decide to work with you. So then how often do you see them? You know, do you have like a weekly or monthly meetings, or?
It depends.
Again?
It really depends client by client.
Yeah.
For some of the clients, it is meeting every couple of months because all they want is the roadmap.
Right.
So we have more of a strategic meeting. We put all the roadmap, all the plans, all the goals, all the actions together.
Yeah.
Here you go. You do it. You know what you're doing. You just needed a little bit of push.
And checkpoint every couple of
more
months.
More clients are more hands-on, so they want a monthly plan, so they want a call or meeting once a month where we have more actionable, more broken down steps, and maybe we have a little bit of training sessions. Some clients really lack not necessarily the motivation, but they do get overwhelmed with the business side, social media side. So when I give them a monthly plan, week 2, they're completely lost and they're completely overwhelmed. So they prefer kind of weekly 15-minute check-ins of, so this is your weekly plan. This is what you need to do this week.
Have you done this? Have you done that?
Yes.
Have you done that?
Yes.
Boxes, yes.
Yes, and just tiny little check-in points of like really quick Facebook message, WhatsApp message here and there. It's like, hey, this was your goal this week, or this is the goal task for you this week. Do you know what you're doing? Is there anything else you need helping with? So it's really individual because every single business and every single entrepreneur are different.
Yeah, great. Do you have any particular type of client, i.e., making examples like whether they are independent professional, like freelancers, like yourself, but in different fields. Do you have small companies, bigger companies? Is that a typical one, or you are distributed across?
Yeah, there is a typical. So I will mostly work with freelancers or entrepreneurs who are fairly focused on building their personal brand. So rather than trying to build a business and having lots of employees, they are trying to build their own company based on their own personality and based on them. So it's mostly working with individuals, and it will be mostly focusing on the service industry. So I do not work much with product-based companies.
Right. Okay. So services and professional service. So people come to you, and again, you'd explain already, there are people that come to you, maybe they have already some knowledge of social media, some people are totally nothing. So you have to, obviously, you pick up whatever they have, you build it, you help them to develop it. Is there an ending point of this collaboration you have?
So there is, if you want to continue running your business, if you want to continue marketing your business, you can never stop doing social media.
Yes,
you can never stop marketing. So it depends. For some businesses, they are really good at learning. So the moment they get the basics, they get the understanding, they understand where to go for resources, they're more than happy just to be on their own and kind of keep themselves up to date.
Sure.
More businesses, again, or more people get easily overwhelmed, and obviously there's loads of knowledge. There's vast amount of content being produced that is pushing at them. So lots of people get overwhelmed.
Yes.
So they'd rather have me there, going through the variety and amount of content and just picking the tiny little bits for them. So some of my clients, they come, they get strategy, they go. And some of my clients have been for me for the past 2-3 years, and they're not thinking about going anywhere because it works for them in a way of we're evolving as their business is evolving. So sometimes, yes, we're downgrading, we're upgrading, we're changing the packages as it fits for both of us.
Yes.
But it's more of a long-term partnerships that our businesses are growing together.
So sounds like some of them uses nearly like your, like if they could do, they would employ you, but they wouldn't be able to give you a full-time job, so they give you a kind of a part-time activity which you manage to distribute across all your clients. So, wow, fantastic. So you already answered all the questions about your business. I think this is going to be very useful for people that might consider working with you, and they say, okay, but how does a consultant like yourself work? So it's really good. Do you have within your business a daily or weekly routine?
Okay, routine is a challenging one because of the variety of what I do, because of the variety of clients, variety of services, really individual approach. There isn't necessarily a routine. I do have a routine in terms of I do have a full-time office that I go to, which is a co-working space. So if I don't have meetings and if I don't go networking and if I don't have training sessions, exactly.
Okay.
Then,
okay.
Exactly. Then I will go to the office for 9 till 5.
Right.
But then often I will go first thing in the morning. I might go to networking. Somewhere during the daytime, I might have a lunch meeting or I might have a call with someone. Or in the evening, which most of my evenings will be spent going out and networking.
Yeah.
So there is a little bit of a routine. But it's really hard to have really strict routine in terms of, yes, every Monday morning I will do this, because sometimes on Monday mornings I'm networking, sometimes I'm working in my office, sometimes I'm meeting with a client.
It's interesting because you are a social media consultant. You are helping people to do their social media. And you mentioned networking 3 times in a sentence. So how much networking, obviously you and I met at a networking event, but how much networking are you still doing on a weekly basis?
I still do a lot of networking. One of the reasons is that I do target businesses and freelancers and experts that don't know how to use social media. So I will not meet my ideal client on social media. So even though I know what I'm doing on social media, I know how it works, and I know how to create lead funnels and how to generate leads through social media, my chosen target audience will not be on social media. So I need to find another ways to meet them, which obviously face-to-face meetings, going to networking events is the main way for me to actually get leads, to get clients, to get awareness for people to know who I am or what I do. So when I counted on a monthly basis, I go 10 to 15 networking events.
Mm-hmm.
So it's 2-3
a week.
Yeah.
That's it. Just about.
Yeah. It's a lot.
It's a lot, but it's what you need.
Exactly. And it definitely worked amazingly for my business.
Yeah. And also you establish personal relationship with these people. Yeah. They know you, they recognize you. Yeah, I totally agree. It's very important.
It takes a little bit of planning. That's why when you said routine, I don't have a routine, but I do have a plan. So I will plan my networking, my events, my meetings months in advance.
Right.
Because then I can plan all the other trainings, all the other calls, all the other work in between of the gaps. But people often ask, how is it possible that you do so much networking? And my answer always is, I do see networking as one of my priorities.
Yes.
So it always will have a space in my calendar, and I will always work around it with the rest of my schedule.
Yeah. I totally agree. I do exactly the same. I put the events in advance. A networking event is a business meeting.
Absolutely.
And a lot of people see it like, well, I've got nothing to do, I go networking. Yeah, that's the same as like people do marketing when they're not selling enough. So they sell, then they market, then they sell, they market.
Yeah, you need to continuously doing the activity to continuously get the results.
Yes, good. All right. Do you have personally a morning routine?
I'm really bad with mornings. I've tried so many times to get some sort of a morning routine, but it always fails, especially with, again, my life being really, really varied. And plus I do travel a lot.
Yes.
So often a week here, a week there, and then I need to catch up with everything. So building a morning routine is a challenge. It's a challenge that I would like to get better at. I would like to get some sort of morning routine, but at this point, my morning routine is roll out of bed, put clothes on, get somewhere where you need to be at a certain time, and then finally my brain kind of starts working.
It sounds like you're not a morning person.
Oh no, I'm not a morning person.
But you work well till late at night?
Yeah, I can work till midnight, 1, 2 if I need to. I'm trying not to, but if I need to, I can work late.
Great. Okay, so where do you see yourself and your business in 3 years' time?
So I do have this vision that I do love traveling, and that's one reason why I love doing my business, because it allows me the flexibility to work from anywhere around the world. And I would love to have the lifestyle of a digital nomad. So I would like to be able to travel more and spend 3 months in one country, 6 months in another country, and literally travel the world with my laptop and work from wherever I am. And work with more clients from not only Cambridge and local areas, but work with businesses and collaborate with businesses and entrepreneurs, and work with clients from all over the world that kind of allow me the lifestyle of be on the road and work while you're traveling.
Wow, that sounds very, very interesting. What has been your proudest moment in your business so far?
I think this question comes in a really good timing because, as you know, last week I've run the first Cambridge Social Media Day, the first ever social media conference here in Cambridge, and we've been sold out a couple of weeks before the event, and we've got 150 people for all day in Cambridge to listen to about 15 speakers. So it's been a massive project for the last year or so. Yeah. But the feedback from there was amazing. Yes. Definitely still feeling really overwhelmed and really pleased with how this particular event went and how the feedback going forward for next year and maybe taking this event to other cities actually is showing up.
Yes. Absolutely. I was there. It was an amazing event. You've done a fantastic job. Really good. Okay, so if you could give someone starting out some advice, what would that be?
Build your tribe. find the people, build your community, build your team. Team doesn't need to mean team in terms of, yes, this is my assistant, this is my VA.
Yeah.
These are people that are like-minded, when they're my friends, but they also understand the business, because sometimes your friends and family will not understand, especially if they're employed, what it takes to be freelancer entrepreneur.
Yes.
So build relationships, build friendships, build connections with like-minded people who actually can be there for you when you just need to declutter, when you need to complain about a client, something did not went well, or you need advice. So for me, surround yourself with people, with the right people who will be there for you.
Very good, very good. So what are your plans for the next few steps now in your business? Now you've done this successful conference, just really fresh from last week, so really good time.
Yeah, so there is lots of plans for the future. One is definitely to run this conference again next year, making it even bigger and better, making sure that it delivers on the values that we have. There is a potential idea to take this event to different cities, so figuring out how that would work to actually deliver this value and knowledge to the small business, micro business, freelance environment in different cities all around the UK. It will be one of my goals. And another for my personal business, just want to focus more on helping freelancers and entrepreneurs who have ambitious goals.
Yeah.
Because some freelancers kind of shifted a little bit from the freelance world to the entrepreneur world, because there is a slightly different mindset between being a freelancer and being an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
And even though I do love working with freelancers, just entrepreneurs have slightly different mindset. And I do love working with people who have huge, like really badass goals, who on their own want to change the world and change the perception and change something, who have really strong core values. They're trying to do something great for the people, the planet, the humankind, but they just on their own decided to do something huge. So I would like to work with more people like that, because they are similar to me, and I would like to help them to actually achieve all their amazing goals.
Very, very nice. So I'm very curious to interview you again in a few months, or in a few or next year after the second conference, and then we're going to see how all this pans out. Lenka, it's been a pleasure speaking to you. Thank you very much for your energy. It's really amazing to see someone with so much energy, and we'll speak soon. Thank you very much.
Thank you.